Hey, what's up guys? In this video I want to talk about exactly how my trading strategy works, and later on in the video I'll also be providing some examples of trades that I have taken using my strategy. Now, if you watch some of my other videos, you will know that I typically trade two setups: the SFP, the swing failure pattern, and my favorite, the symbol break and retest. In this video I want to focus on the break and retest pattern. The break and retest strategy that I use basically works like this. I start on the weekly time frame. I mark out support and resistance areas. I then zoom into the daily, do the same, and then the hourly, do the same. And I look for breakouts on daily time frame as well as weekly time frames. When price breaks out on these time frame, I then zoom into the hourly chart to further define my entry. My entry is on the 1 hour chart, last high before the breakout in a long scenario. Short scenario, it would be the last low before the breakout. Okay, so now we know where to enter. What about our stops? Well, this differs a little bit, and there's gonna be a little bit discretion here. But typically, if I see like a base where my entry is, I want to put my stop either beneath or above that base. And sometimes we'll even get like a really nice and big thrust candle that just powers through, just like you power on that like button, the support or resistance, and then I'll actually place my stop beneath that thrust candle, but I'll show you some examples. Okay, so for targets, I will most of the time look for key levels in the higher time frame, the daily and the weekly, and set my targets there. But if there's been a lot of price action on the 1 hour prior to my entry, I will actually look on the 1 hour and try and see if there's been any recent resistance or support there, and then I'll be placing my targets there. I tend to trade level to level. Okay, so that is basically what the break and retest strategy is. Sometime, or a tool that I like to use is the Fibonacci tool, and I use this as a confluence. In order for me to draw the Fibonacci tool, price have had to made a complete structure. Okay, so price has to made a major swing low and a major swing high, and then of course I'll be drawing the Fibonacci from the low to the high. And then levels I like to look for is, first of all, any level that confluences, but especially like the lower or the higher Fib levels, such as the 61.8 or the 50% retracement. Okay, enough talking, let's get onto the computer and I will show you some examples so you can visualize it. Let's go. Okay, let's start on the New Zealand dollar, and this was a trade that I took this week. So we are currently on the daily chart, and as you can see, price was moving up, and then we saw resistance here, and we saw resistance a bunch of times, you know, in this zone here. I'm not even going to draw them out, but as you can see, price just kept testing this level and we couldn't break, and we didn't really retrace that much neither, so, and that's really bullish in my opinion. And then we finally broke out here, and at this point I'm waiting for a retest. Okay, now this is when I zoom into the hourly chart, and let's scroll back to the point of breakout. See, we broke out on this candle here, and the last high pre-breakout in my opinion was this candle right there. Okay, and this is where I'll be looking at buying. So I wait a long time, And then here price finally retests. Oh, I just want to explain where my stop would be in this position. So I would put my order there. I'll place my stop beneath these lows here, and then I would find a target on the higher time frame, whatever. We can actually try it out just to show you what I would do. Okay, on the daily chart, yeah, it would probably be around here at this high here, something like that, right? So this is what my trade would look like. Now, of course, I'll have to wait for price to come back to my limit order. So I wait for several days actually, and then here price finally retests, and for some reason I had cancelled my order, so I didn't get filled on this pullback here. And I saw this like a little after prices retested, but I still wanted to get back into this trade, so I put my order here, and then I hope for a price to come back and fill me, and I would have my price my stop below here, because this is like a low now, and then I would have my target up at this level here, because we would have resistance, support, resistance, and that level just made sense for me, so that's what I did. And it was a nice 5-to-1, 1-to-5 risk to reward ratio. So that's a nice trade that I took this week. Alright, let's move on. Okay, so for the second example, I want to show a short scenario on the dollar-yen. So we start on the daily, and as you can see, we have this support. Price have tested this multiple times, and then it has retraced, and then here we finally get the breakout with a nice thrust candle to the downside. What I mean by thrust candle is these big candles with big bodies on and smaller wicks, and that's what I really love to see, because that shows momentum. Okay, so we have the candle. I'll then zoom into the hourly for my entry. And here you can see that last low pre-breakout was right there. So that's where my order was. And I get in on this candle right there. It just hits it, so that was really lucky for me. And then my stop would be above here, and I would have my target down at the next weekly level down here. Okay, so as you can see, it hits my target eventually, but in actual case my stop got hit, because I trail my stops. I don't just leave them where they are at first. So I don't completely remember. No, I got hit down here. Yeah. I put my stop there above that high because price just ranged. And then it just took it out, and then it continued down. So a bit unfortunate, but I still ended up with almost a 3R trade, so pretty decent. Okay, so that was a short scenario. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so for this one I'm gonna show a losing trade that I took yesterday actually, or I think, yeah, yesterday. So this is on the dollar CAD, and as you can see on the daily time frame, we have this support level. It's this red one here in the middle. You can see prices tested it and then retraced, and then did the same thing here where it couldn't break beneath it. And then if we zoom back a bit, we can see that this level was a resistance, and a resistance, turn to support. So basically a pretty important level, right? And then here on the 5th of August, we break through close below that level. And here I'm looking at getting short. So I zoom in on the hourly. And the last low pre-breakout, in my opinion, is right there. So that's where I want to put my short. And as you can see, we tested here. So, and my stop would be above this little wick here. And my target would be these lows here, because this price action is formed on the hourly, and I could target these daily lows, but I decided just to target the hourly lows just because it would be easier. It would be an easier trade, right? Okay, so as you can see, what happens is that my order fills up, and then we get these two nice rejection candles with long wicks to the upside, and they just try, but they get shut down again by the bears. And after I saw this, I actually moved my stop down to right above these highs here, because I don't want to see price retest that. I want fast rejection in this case. And what happened is that we don't actually break lower at all. We just test it again. So you can see we tested again, and we didn't really retrace, and then here we finally break through and hit my stop. So took a small stop on that one, but that is what to be expected in trading. Okay, so I gave you some examples of how I use my break and retest strategy. Now remember, you should use the strategy that works best for you, and if you found some inspiration from this video, then that is great. But you will most likely need to tweak things a bit to fit your own liking. Maybe you don't want to trail the stops, or maybe you want to trail them automatically instead of manually adjusting them. That's up to you and it's personal preference, and nothing is better than the other thing. So just try it out, test it, and then hopefully you'll find something that works. Thanks for watching this video. Please leave a like, because it helps the YouTube algorithm, and have a good day.